Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this third Tech Bites. And welcome to you all, and thank you everybody for registering. Really excited that we've got some great people to speak to you today about how we can go and turn and get businesses back to operating and letting everyone know that we're back in business. So just to run you through some of the sort of housekeeping today, we are recording this webinar. So you'll be able to go back and watch it if you missed anything or just want to go back and see another presentation. The other thing to mention as well is I know we're streaming on Facebook Live. So if you are on there and you want to come and talk to our panelists at the end, we're going to put up some details how you can log in and join us so you can ask questions as well. This is an interactive webinar. There are also handouts as well that are on your panel, on your screen. You should see a handout section. So if you need to get details from our speakers, they're on there. As I say, it is interactive today, so we really want people to speak to us. If you want to speak to us, if you raise the hand signal on your screen now, you should be able to see. The hand signal, which will allow you to speak to our speakers at the end. We're going to do questions for all our speakers at the end. If you want to type in a question, maybe you're a bit shy and don't want to talk to us directly, you can type in a question into the box on your screen there as well. So please do get those coming in, and we'll do all of those at the end. So with that, I would like to introduce you today to our presenters. So I've got Robert Morris from William Morris London, J. Scott Nichols from Icon Art. I will be talking to you about Love Eyewear Week and the Love Eyewear Awards. We've also got Mark Robinson from Bellyflop Video, and I'm also joined by Jay Srivasani, who will help me co-host today, and obviously has been involved working with me on these since the beginning. So hello Jay Sri, how are you?
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, I'm good.
Let me see if I can get myself on the screen for you. There we are. Hello, good morning. Hiya. It's been quite a week this week, Nathan. I think it's been an interesting week, and I did pose a little post on my LinkedIn post of whether is providing eye care and eyewear a science or an art, or both, or neither. Okay. So I did a bit of research myself, trying to see how we answer that question and what I think. And a little thing came up from a Professor Dave Featherstone, who's a professor of biology and neuroscience based in Chicago. And he said, science equals art, art equals science. They're the same thing. Both science and art are human attempts to understand and describe the world around us. Both artists and scientists strive to see the world in new ways and communicate that vision. Applied science is technology. Applied art is decoration. Technology and decoration are applications of science and art for practical purposes. Technology and decoration make our lives easier, but they don't change how we fundamentally perceive what is around us. Science and art do. Okay. So as eye care professionals, we have the privilege of combining science and art in our working lives, and we should consider that a privilege in its own right. So that's my little take on it, as it were. Okay, so let's crack on with the pictures. We'll do our first pitch if everybody's ready. We're all good. Are we all good to go, Nathan?
I believe we are. So I just had to turn Robert's microphone off there. Got a bit of feedback, but Robert, if you're able to put on your microphone and your camera, and then we can start. So yeah, we do. Brilliant. That's it. We've got you there. Yes, we can hear you, Robert.
All right. And the symbol I press at the top, Nathan, is it the one with the two people, or is it the video?
The video.
The video.
Yep.
I'm here. Okay, great. Thanks. My first webinar, so apologies. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get you on the screen there, Robert. Can't see you yet.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see you. See if we can get you on there. There you are, dapper as ever. Dapper as ever. Great stuff. Okay, Rob.
Very kind. Thank you.
And then, we'll take you from there. So in 1996, Robert Morris created William Morris London, an independent company with an English brand, okay, to offer designer glasses to every audience, providing superb original designs which continually evolve. From humble beginnings to a successful global brand. William Morris London employs staff, agents and distributors worldwide now. So it's important to know that the philosophy and brand attributes of William Morris London remain as strong as ever. In a corporate world, it's the family values that set them apart and what their customers really appreciate. A family that has a founder and managing director still very much at the helm. Introducing Robert. Over to you, Robert. So a 2-minute intro and a book or a life hack or an app, please. Off you go. Yeah, I can't hear you, no.
Oh, yeah, I think we can hear you now.
Yeah, great. All right. So two minutes about yourself, Robert.
Oh, actually, Robert, I think you're muted again. Sorry.
Right. Let's see whether we've got you. Hello.
Yes, I think we have you back, Robert. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Go for it.
Great. Well done. Well done. So, Josie, thank you very much for that lovely introduction. You're as always, very kind. So just to give you a little bit of background, I mean, Josie, you already covered quite a bit. I mean, I'm the owner and founder of William Morris, as you say, an independent eyewear company. And we've been sort of operating in the UK for many years, over 25 years, and you're right, we're now exporting to quite a few different markets throughout the world, which has actually really helped us in this difficult time with coronavirus, because we've been able to get some really interesting feedback from some of our markets who have already returned to work. And if anybody wants to ask me any questions about that afterwards, I'm obviously very happy to share our experiences in some of the export markets and how they've gone about getting back to work. Just like to take this opportunity to thank Nathan and all the team, obviously at 100% Optical, for putting together these webinars and, as always, supporting in a brilliant way the independent sector of our wonderful industry. Also like just to welcome our fellow webinars, Mark and Jay, and I know they're going to be doing a presentation after me. So William Morris were and still are the designers of fashion eyewear to the independent segment. We have found ourselves, like a lot of businesses, diversifying recently into different segments to help us and our customers to get through these challenging times. As I said earlier, we've been supplying the independent market for more than 20 years. I've actually been in the business for probably more than 30 years, so I'm kind of hopefully quite well known within the industry. Our aim as a company, and my own personal objective, has always been to support and work very closely with independent opticians. That's sort of always been our model and continues to be. So the independent sector is very close to us, very close to our hearts, and it's the sector which we want to continue to support as best we can, especially during these very difficult times. We got involved in PPE really because we wanted to start to think about how we could help our customers get back to work safely, protecting them, but also, of course, protecting their patients. We started off by just offering face goggles and face masks, but this, because of demand, has led to an awful lot more of things being offered. I think Nathan's possibly going to put up on the screen some of the things that we're now offering to not just opticians, but we've also been asked to advise some larger corporate companies outside of the optical world, who are all taking it very seriously. They're what they call a duty of care, getting their staff back to work safely, not just in the workplace, but while their staff are traveling to and from work as well. So it's been a really interesting journey for us. You know, we've gone from being designers and manufacturers of fashion eyewear into experts on PPE and giving advice to large and small companies, because one of the things that's become obvious to me is even some of the very larger companies are struggling to understand not what to offer, not just what to offer, but how they go about also protecting their staff and visitors, whether it's to an optician's or whether it's to their offices. So we're offering a wide range of PPE now. You can see some of the things that Nathan's kindly popped up on the screen, right through from goggles to shields, face masks, sanitizers. And one of the most popular things that we've recently managed to source is at the bottom of the screen there, which is a UV sanitizer, which is there to help opticians to sanitize and clean their frames when a patient has tried them on in the practice, and they're proving to be very popular. Not on the screen are some other things that we've also launched, which is sort of point of sale or POP, things like social distancing stickers, so that when people enter the practices, they're very aware of, the patients are very aware of, you know, how to behave when they're in the practice. We've also done, I don't know if you can put it up on the screen, Nathan, but we've done the sort of back to work sticker, which Nathan may or may, oh, there it is. So this is actually part of a kit, which our sales team, when they do eventually come back, will be delivering to opticians, to our customers. The kit consists of face masks, shields, gloves, sanitizers, the sticker, which opticians hopefully will put on their doors welcoming back and their customers, and also letting them know they're open. Now that's going to be something which we're going to be sort of giving out from our sales team, and inviting the optician, if they want any further advice on PPE, to contact us directly at William Morris, so we can give them more advice on maybe what they need or want to offer to their patients. And I think, you know, we're very aware that a lot of our customers are isolated, they're on their own, they don't perhaps have a chance to talk to many other opticians who've facing these challenging times. But I think it is important that we are all aware that some larger independent groups and multiples are very much gearing up for their patients coming back to the practices. So I think it is important that we not only do we kind of gear ourselves up and our opticians, the independent opticians, but also I think that we, when I say we, I mean us and the independent opticians, communicate with their patients, telling them exactly you know, what levels of protection will be in the practice, not only for the patients, but also what the staff in the practice will be wearing and taking precautions with as well. And that goes also to our own sales team. You know, we're busy gearing up for them to return to work, and we're going to be supplying them also with a medical kit and sending it actually to their homes, so that they've got everything that they need to do their day-to-day work, and making sure that they not only protect themselves, but they're also going to be protecting, obviously, opticians who are willing and feeling need to see them for frames. Part of that kit, actually, interestingly, for the sales team will be a thermometer, so they can self-test at home before they leave to go to work. I think the interesting thing for us as a company is exactly when to return to work, and you know, when opticians will want to see us. We're very sensitive to the fact that you know, these are unprecedented times. So when our sales team do eventually come back, you know, they are all going to be briefed very carefully to be very sensitive towards the opticians' needs and their customers. I think that's pretty much it from my side, except for saying thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to some of our lovely opticians. Really appreciate it, and And perhaps just to round off by saying, if you do need any advice on PPE or anything else, please do feel free to contact either myself directly or one of my team at the office. So thank you very much. Hopefully that was about 5 minutes and not more.
That was perfect.
Great.
It was fun. So
Great.
just that screen with the PPE on it is one of the handouts, Rob. If people do want to contact you, maybe they can download the handout on the panel.
Great, thank you. And we will, just so you know, we will be sending out a complete brochure with all the support that we're offering to opticians, not just PPE, when we return back to work, because we're very aware of the challenges we're all going to face.
That's great. Fantastic, Robert. Great amount of support for the independent sector as always, which is great. Did you say you have a book or a life hack?
Thank you again for the opportunity.
I think there's a bit of a delay on that line.
Okay, no worries. That's okay. We can ask him a bit later. That's fine, no problem.
Sorry, Jay, is she?
I was just saying that, did you
What
have a
was that,
book
JC?
or a
Sorry.
life hack? Yeah. We'll catch you in a bit, don't worry. That's okay. I think streaming wise, there may be an issue. We can't hear you that well, Robert. Okay, no worries. Okay, on to the next person. So next person is Jay. Can you put your webcam on, Jay? Can you join us, please? That's great, perfect. Good morning, good morning. All right, so this is Jay Scott Nichols, and he is the creative director of Icon Art. Okay, so Jay has a fantastic demonstrated history of working in the photography industry, and he's skilled in business planning, sales, retail, and customer relationship management. But he's a strong entrepreneur, and that's what's brought him to this position. Tell us more, Jay. And remember, 2 minutes on yourself, and then the little hack, and then we'll time you in, to say go for your 5 minutes. All right, off you go. Thanks.
Got it. Well, thanks very much for having me. Thanks for the kind intro. Yeah, I'm Jay. I'm a photographer, have been for most of my career. I spent the largest part of it working with National Geographic magazine. Fortunate enough to travel around and see a lot of things, take a lot of pictures myself and work with some fantastic photographers. And it was actually on one of those projects for the magazine that the idea for Icon Art came about. So I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but let me also say thank you very much to 100% Optical for having us. We came to the last event and it was really special for us as photographers passionate about eyes to meet other professionals who also work in that sector, and we're able to share a lot of knowledge and tips. So that we really enjoyed that. My life hack is a piece of advice that I got early on in my photography career, which again was part of the creation of Icon Art. And that was that if your photos are not coming out the way you want them to, get closer. And that mantra, to get closer, to get more intimate with your subject matter, has informed a lot of what I've done, but also informed the ethos of Icon Art. And I look forward to telling you more about it.
Great stuff. Are you ready to go then? Are you all set to go?
Indeed.
Just get your screen all up and going, or we'll
okay.
Set the timer. Nathan's got the timer ready. Nathan, yeah?
Can you see that?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, look, thanks very much, everyone, for listening. It's a pleasure to be able to present what we do to you. What I'd like to do is very simply tell you a little bit about the history of Icon Art, how it came about as a concept, what we do now, and most importantly, what it is we can do for you, particularly in the context of obviously what's going on with coronavirus. So we are fundamentally a photography company, but we came out of an idea. And the idea came from reading an article actually in National Geographic magazine, which talked about airport scanners and how they identify different people through their irises. And by the way, you'll have to excuse me if I use iris and eye interchangeably. I promise I do know the difference. Iris scanners obviously scan the eye looking for patterns. Now, it turns out that the human eye is something like 10 times more detailed than your fingerprint. And that means that our irises are unique, not just in the world, but in history. That realization from reading that article struck me as a photographer as an impetus to try to show people that thing through which they see the world, but which they never really get to see. This thing that's incredibly beautiful, which we all carry around in our heads, and which is also, it turns out, intensely personal. And as a photographer, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to show that to people and help them discover something about themselves? So that thought sparked the inventive process, which spanned several years. We went through lots of prototypes, from disassembling torches to buying dog collars to fluorescent light tubes, a real kitchen table project. And after lots of trial and error, we eventually settled on the design which we now call the Eye Studio, which has various features which are really to do with illuminating the iris in a way that is uniform, to controlling the reflections, which are the big problem of shooting the eye, as you all will know. It's a curved, wet, reflective, moving surface buried in heads, and it's quite small, and that makes it a challenge to photograph. So the Eye Studio is an attempt to solve those engineering challenges. And we're proud to say that we've patented our invention and now turned it really into a business. So what we do in that business is essentially turn people's eyes into art. We meet them one-on-one or in groups or at events and take photographs which they can preview in camera, and then they can take home a piece of art of their own iris to treasure. Having grown, we now work with a team of photographers, all professionals in their own right, but who are now trained up in photographing eyes and the art and science thereof, but also in talking to the people that we photograph about their eyes, so that we can point out the interesting features and talk knowledgeably about it. So there is an experiential aspect to what we do, and actually for many of the people we shoot, that's their favourite bit. The demand we've seen since launching this service has exploded. So what started as a passion project and merged into a private commissions project now is fundamentally around events. So we travel the world. In the last year, we were in France, Czech Republic, Dubai, Singapore, New Orleans. We're proud to say we've been invited to the TED conference next year in Vancouver. And it's a real joy and a pleasure to bring this excitement to people, because they get a real wow factor out of discovering something about themselves and discovering how beautiful and unique their eye is. As you can see from some of the images here on the screen, the events really range from small networking groups to gala dinners through to huge conferences, expos and trade shows. So it's a pretty flexible package, and what we do is just grow the number of crew that we take with us, grow the stand size depending on the needs and the size of the event. So what I also want to tell you about is some of the things we're innovating in. So having established this core service in delivering an experiential piece of entertainment for events, we now do artworking. So we can take groups of irises, groups of eye portraits that we've taken, and create these huge format artworks out of them. And this is something that we've worked with various opticians on. So this large picture you see on the left is actually an installation we did for an optician in Los Angeles. It's backlit, it's printed on this huge sheet of acrylic glass, and actually they won an award for it, which we're very pleased about. But we can also create, using our graphic design team, these bespoke printouts. We can bring logos into it, we can add frames, backgrounds, that sort of thing. So whether we're taking a single eye, 5 eyes, or 300 eyes, we can create these huge pieces of art which are really dramatic. And that can be done live at events, or it can be done after the fact. Now, finally, what I want to talk to you about is the kinds of things that can be done now. A lot of the customers that we talk to are saying, well, given coronavirus, what can you, Icon Art, do? And I think there's perhaps an opportunity now, as things start to return to normal and customers start to return to practices, to do something to celebrate both your teams and your customers. So option one is what we call a corporate private commission. And this is essentially where we send our crew into your business, we photograph you, we photograph your team, they all get that experience, and they all go home with an individual iris portrait of their own. But then we'll take all of those images and create a bespoke piece of art using them, which you can then print and hang on the wall of the practice, your office, wherever, which looks really beautiful, helps celebrate the coming together of the team, and also works great on social media, by the way. Option two, if you wanted to do something more customer facing, is in-store events. One of our first big clients was Specsavers, and we devised with them a kind of roadshow model where we can basically set up in-store and as a way for you to attract new customers, but also bring back existing customers, offer this as a piece of entertainment and activation, if you like, in-store, which they really love, and they get to go home with a memento that they'll treasure forever and share on social with your brand. So those two options perhaps worth thinking about. That's what I've really got to say, but if you don't believe me, here are some testimonials from other clients we've worked with. I'll leave this for a few seconds, and you'll also notice our email address at the bottom if you want to make a note. If you've got any questions, anything you'd like to explore, we'd be very happy to talk.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jay.
Great. Perfect. Didn't that go, so you must have been well done. Excellent. Good. Good.
Was that 5
A
minutes?
unique and bespoke situation. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Okay. Right, next person. That would be Nathan. Thank you, Jay. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Right, this is pressure. Here we go. So, introducing Nathan Garnett. Passionate about events. Nathan has worked in the industry for over 20 years and has experience in running awards, conferences, consumer and trade events on all scales and in a variety of locations in the UK and abroad. Working on the BBC Good Food portfolio for 8 years and then taking on the world's 50 restaurant awards, this gave Nathan a sound understanding of consumer and trade events in the food and drinks industry and how to work with global brands and create a long-lasting commercial partnership. Off you go, Nathan. This is for you. 2 minutes, please, and your life hack.
Yeah, okay, so obviously thanks for my brief career history there, but obviously my last 7 years of my career has been with 100% Optical and launching this show, which has been a very personal and really exciting and touching, well, great experience really, because I think this is such a great industry, optics, and we saw that quite quickly when we came into this marketplace and saw the opportunity to try and amplify and tell that story about the optical sector. So obviously, 7 years in, we've got a show that 9,000 people attend every year, and obviously we're all fingers crossed, hoping that we'll be able to do that again at the end of January 2021. So we're very, very grateful we got 2020 away because a lot of shows haven't happened this year. But hopefully we can get 2021 underway as well. So yeah, that's me. My life hack, I have to say, actually one my daughter showed me, and unfortunately I've only got a small strawberry, which I don't know if you can see that. That's from my garden. It's
right. Yes.
Not enough rain, but the life hack is to use a straw, and if you put the straw where the stalk is and you push it through, you can decore your strawberry really quickly.
Oh, wow.
In 50. There you go.
Cool.
That's my.
Good for the summer. I like it.
There you go.
Okay. Are you going to put your own timer on, or should I time you then?
If you could time me, that would be great. Yes.
Okay. Let me just do that. Let me get myself ready, and then we're all set to go. Okay. Right. You're off to go.
Okay, brilliant. So as I was just talking about 100% Optical, we launched the show in 2013 with the idea of creating a show that was fresh, vibrant, and showcased the optical world in all its glory. But we always felt the fashion element of this industry was hiding its light under a bushel a little bit. So what we want to do is show that there's a load of energy and amazing frame designs in this industry. So one of the key functions of any good trade show as well is that it's a promoter for an industry. So that really got us thinking about how we could do that more effectively with 100% Optical. I don't know if you're aware, but today is National Peanut Butter Cupcake Day, which is kind of bizarre, but that's what it is. And there seems to be a day and a week for everything. Tomorrow is International Axe Throwing Day, for example, for those of you who are keen axe throwers. But these kind of things, if there are events for Hat Week, there's Hat Week, there's Shoe Week. Why wasn't there an Eyewear Week? Eyewear is such a fundamental thing of what we all, people having to wear a fashion item on their face. For us, it felt that there was an opportunity to do something. So 2 years ago, we launched Love Eyewear Week. And the idea really is very, very simple. It was to promote the amazing range of eyewear available and promote optician stores as well and get people walking into stores to try out more frames. For example, I don't know if you knew this, but the UK men own an average of 20 shoes and have a value of nearly £1,000 in their home. And I saw a recent survey that said that 38% of UK glasses wearers only have one pair of frames. That's my alarm, so I'm not sure why that's going on. This is a travesty that we felt needed correcting. So we thought we'd use 100% optical, all the frame manufacturers in one place, all the opticians in one place, and use the social media noise that the event makes to really promote eyewear and get people into stores. And that could be through window display competitions, social media, anything really. So we were really delighted that after 2 years, we've had some really good traction with this. Opticians getting involved on social media, even celebrities. That's Danny Mills, Match of the Day presenter, and Ian Wright. Both of them have managed to mention Eyewear Week recently on social media in 2020 and 2019. We want to get this going in a bigger way. All these celebrities that wear frames, we want them talking about frames. So I'm going to, even Gary Kusulu, who's our own celebrity in the optical world, has been great in supporting this as well. So there he is with Icon Art at the show back in January. So I'm going to show you a quick video now, which hopefully gives you a snapshot of what Love Eyewear Week is about.
Great.
So that video was used by lots of opticians as well as us and the eyewear frame manufacturers as well, all around the show, so we could get some more people talking about eyewear. And we then thought, well, an appreciation, a week of talking about eyewear couldn't be complete without an award. So last year we launched the Love Eyewear Awards, and this is, for 2020, and this is to incorporate not just the frames, but also those of you that are retailing frames as well. So we were looking for excellence in maybe luxury, or those of you that are doing amazing windows and so on. And yeah, that was the idea. We got loads of entries, gave us even more to talk about on social media, free to enter, so nothing to lose there. And we've got some amazing frames to talk about as well. And that really amplified the social media that was going on and the noise around eyewear. And some of the amazing opticians you can see on my screen that were shortlisted and won got lots of traction on social media from it and told their own story, and more importantly, used the awards to shout to their customers about how well they're doing and how eyewear is such a great thing, and that actually if you have a winning eyewear award sticker in your window, you can drive footfall in, because you're showing that you're one of the best, you're an excellent retailer. So that was really the idea behind it. We culminated that in an awards function at the show on the Saturday, and that's my second video, which I'm going to show you quickly now. You'll be glad to hear another short one.
Ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling.
Very quickly then, I'll just summarise.
Just in there, just literally.
Well, the results, Jayshree, just because it's important, I guess, our objective was to get people talking about eyewear, and we had 2.5 million people on Google, a 1% increase in people talking about eyewear and opticians on all social media platforms, and a reach of nearly 6 million. And we want everyone and maybe we can do even better next year.
Great stuff. We'll let you that little more. Great. Okay, thank you, Nathan. That sounds exciting, and people should try and get involved with that. I think it's important that we shout about all the fantastic eyewear that we have, and also to make sure that people have more than one frame, as you said. So that's important stuff. Okay, so let's see if we can get our next picture on the screen. Mark, can you get yourself on the screen, please?
There you go.
Have we got you there? Hey, good stuff. Hi, Mark. Okay,
Hi.
so Mark Robinson is the operations director for Bellyflop TV. You joined in 2012, having worked in a variety of roles in industry, from engineering, finance, entertainment, public transport as well. Okay, now I think Bellyflop TV have made 4,000 films for customers, including sport, leisure, services, events, recycling, award nights, youth offending, fashion, exhibition, local councils, and importantly, opticians and optometrists. I think you've done about 500 for opticians and optometry sector. So that's brilliant work. Mark is a value-driven individual who has a good understanding of the communication challenges that businesses face of all sizes, and you know, it's the knowledge and the understanding of digital marketing that can drive the customers and the best results for you in terms of clients. So over to you, Mark. Two minutes and your life hack or app or your book, please, and then we'll get you started.
Good afternoon. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to chat to everybody today. And straight onto my book. So my book perhaps is a little bit unusual insofar as it's not really for me. It's for my little boy, it's Zog. If you've not read the book yet, it's about a hapless dragon who sort of stumbles his way through life, if you like, and doesn't quite know what he wants to be. And then he ends up being an ambulance for the flying doctor. So perhaps a little bit like me, that's why I've had so many jobs and different careers, is I never really knew when I was growing up what I wanted to be when I grew up. I've always admired people that knew what they wanted to be when they grew up, but I didn't know what I wanted to be. But as a result of that, that's obviously given me great life experience that I can bring to, especially to the role that I'm doing now, because I understand the diversity of business and I understand customers. So
Indeed.
that's my life hack.
Yeah,
life
great stuff.
Book. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's okay. Good stuff. Are you ready to present? Are you all set?
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Nathan,
So,
clock ready. Yeah.
Right, so,
Off you go.
okay, thank you. So as Jayshree said, at Bellyflop, we've been making video content or non-broadcast video content since 2008. Our background lies in broadcast TV, and as I said, in 2008 we started creating non-broadcast content for use across websites and social media, etc. And since 2009 we've made over 500 films for opticians, optometrists, and for the optical industry. So that can be anything from explainer films for clients around macular degeneration, or how to use eye drops, or even fashion focused films, you know, because obviously there's such a huge range of frames available. In addition to video, so obviously video is what we major on, but in addition to video, we also offer social media support, and we've got a couple of opticians who we manage their social media accounts for them. We also do Google 360 tours. So during the time that we've worked with opticians, we've grown to understand how unique your businesses are and how unique the challenges are that you face. Because obviously you've got lots of the brands, if you like, or the chain stores then that are sort of encroaching in the independent market. So with that in mind, we're looking to support independents as much as possible. One of the ways in which we've been able to do that is we've developed a brand new tool to generate video testimonials quickly and easily. And this is an app where you can just send an email to a client, they record it on their smartphone or tablet device, it gets sent back into the system, we process that, and then you've got a branded video then for sharing across your social media, your website, etc. Now, just got some stats there. 54% of consumers want to see more videos, and we feel like we're perhaps being swamped by video when we go onto social media, but 54% of consumers want to see more. And 84%, interesting, believe reviews more than 3 months old aren't relevant. So, you know, if you think about it, we all use reviews. Back in the days when we could travel, we'd look on TripAdvisor before we book that hotel. We might look on the Amazon reviews before we commit to a purchase. And over 80% of us will trust those opinions of complete strangers before we'll believe perhaps what a business has got to say about itself. The reviews and testimonials are really important. And as I said, those old reviews, it shows that you did a great service for somebody 12 months ago, but what about the service that you've done this week or last week? With that in mind, we've got a quick video. I'm not sure whether Jayshree or Nathan has got the play button for that, but just show you.
Hello, here's a brief introduction to Bellyflop Video. This is a brand new video product which allows you to showcase everything your customers love about your business and the service you offer. The video testimonials can be used across all your social media channels, your website, and even in emails. Testimonials are incredibly powerful, and video is by far the most engaging form of content, so this video testimonial combination is a winning mix. Creating a video with Bellyflop Video requires no more technical ability than it takes to send an email. The video can be recorded on a smartphone, tablet or webcam, either by your customer remotely or by you when you are with the customer in less than 2 minutes. The raw footage is submitted into our system at the click of a button, where we add your logo, your call to action and contact details before sending it to you for approval. If you are happy with the film, you can purchase and download it to use wherever you want. If you're not, then you can delete and re-request the film or abort the request completely at no cost. Prices vary depending on usage, but spending 10 minutes a week creating 5 films would mean each film costs around £12. 92% of people check reviews and testimonials before committing to a purchase, and customers are 12 times more likely to believe something someone else says about your brand than what you say about yourself. If you'd like more information, then I'd be delighted to chat to you further.
Excellent. So, Mark, we welcome you back there.
Thank you. So yeah, the app is really simple to use. Obviously, there's a lot more functionality to it than I've been able to show in that very short clip. But you're also able to use that to record perhaps your own social media content. So you might have your Wednesday words of wisdom or Tuesday tips for looking after your frames. Whatever it is, you can use that to create your own social media content as well. And that's whether we're managing your social media accounts for you or whether you're managing them yourself. On the topic of video, there's a web address there on the screen. You might want to note that down. Robert mentioned earlier that he's got some back to work materials for you, so letting people know that you're back open for business with a sticker on the door. This is effectively your sticker for social media. It's video content showing your patients what you're doing in practice to keep them safe and keep yourself safe. And that's available completely free of charge, completely unbranded for you to download. So it's just bellyflop.tv/optom, and the download is there available for you to take as and when you want. And if you've got any queries, more than happy to answer any questions whatsoever. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Here we go. Thank you very much there, Mark. Okay, so
Okay,
can we get everybody back on screen then?
Yes, let's, yeah, if we can get everyone back. So, Jay and Robert. I've got a question from Robert already. So when we kick off our questions, but on the screen, you should see, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to talk directly to people, I can come and turn your microphone on. Or if you want us to ask a question, we can read it out. So yeah, so I've got one to start off with, and it's for Robert. Robert, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So this one comes from
Great.
Yes, there's a bit of a delay, so I'll ask the question and then we'll see how we get on. The PPE, someone's asked, how will you deliver the items into optician stores?
Well, with the free PPE that we're going to offer to the opticians, we'll deliver, the sales team will deliver it. But if the opticians feel they require any extra PPE, we'll obviously ship that as we would normally the frame, so it'll come via DHL or the post.
Okay, good stuff. I'm going to try Alistair. Alistair Doxys, I raised a hand. I'm hoping that Alistair wants to talk to us. So let's see if I can turn on the microphone. Hi, Alistair. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes. Hi.
Good stuff. Who did you want to talk to?
Sorry?
Hi, Alistair.
Hi. Hi.
You want to ask a question?
No, I haven't, not yet. No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, it's nice to talk to you. Hope you're well.
Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
He was checking the functionality was working. I like that. Good stuff.
Okay. Right. So we've got some other questions. Please do ask your questions away now. If you type them in the box, we can read them out to our panelists. And if anyone wants to sort of ask a question directly, then we can do that. As we did with Alistair there, we can turn on your microphone. There's one that's just come in from Nazreen. For locum optometrists, do you have a package for PPE for locums? That's probably for you, Robert.
Nathan, did you finish? Did you finish what was the question?
Locum optometrists, do you have a PPE package designed for them?
For locums?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good question. I guess not specifically for them, Nathan, but we'd send the PPE to the optician. So hopefully, whichever optician they were working with at any given time would have the PPE there waiting for them.
Okay, brilliant. There's quite a few people asking about this. So what I'd also, after this webinar, we will email everybody more details, I think, because there's quite a few questions coming in about how they can get in touch with you. So we'll do that. There's obviously the handout as well on the panel there, so they could download the panel, the handout, the okay.
Nathan, just sorry, I apologise jumping in again, but just for that particular question about the locum, but by all means, any locums that want to contact us directly, please, feel free to do so. We'll do our best to. If you're worried about getting to work, then we'll do our best to sort of supply you with some PPE.
That's fantastic. That'd be great.
I think sometimes what happens is we think about bigger organisations, and locums currently are having a bit of a hard time, as you can imagine, and so we have to try and support the whole of the industry, and it's important to think about all the different aspects of our whole sort of industry. And equally, Mark, I don't know, but as a locum, you've also got to try and not build a brand, but build some sort of presence of who you are and what you offer and what you can do, really. So could they also get in touch with you, Mark, in that sense? Do a little video maybe, or something about themselves, or?
Yes, absolutely. This can be used. There's various pricing models that can be used on pay-as-you-go or on a subscription model. So,
right.
As I said, if an optician is going to use this as their Wednesday words of wisdom or their Tuesday tips, whatever, there's no reason why an independent locum couldn't do exactly the same thing.
Right.
So it's called personal branding. So it's locum then branding themselves and showing why they're perhaps a locum of choice.
Yes, because they may have done extra education, they may have extra qualifications or something different about them that they have, and that could be something that they could utilize and make sure that they're aware, people are aware of their skills and services. Really, that's the thing, isn't it? Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
absolutely.
good. Okay, I've got a question for Nathan.
Oh yeah.
Right, here we go. So Nathan, you were saying about the Love Eye Care Awards. What I want to know is, how does an optician get in touch with you? Would they email you with something that they've done if they've done a fantastic window, or what would they do if they've got a little video that they think's important, or what? What's the best way to do that?
I mean, obviously, this was the first year we did it back in January, and I think we did a call out back in September originally to say to people to enter. Obviously, for the shop window element, it doesn't have to be in that particular time frame. It can be any shop window they might have done over the course of 12 months.
Okay.
But I guess and then on the retailing side, so yeah, we'll be launching this again in September, October time. Obviously, we would love to be able to do the awards ceremony again, but if we can't, we will be definitely doing the awards whatever happens. We'll do Love Eyewear Week, whatever happens. Yeah, obviously we all our events are subject to what's going to happen with social distancing, but we know we've got blueprints for how we can do successful stage events.
Sure.
But yeah, I'd certainly, we produced a pack last year as well. But what we're really looking for is ideas from opticians as well. So anyone listening to this who thinks, actually, if you could help us with this to get people talking. So we did a window sticker last year, a bit like Robert's We Are Open one, promoting Eyewear Week. We'd like to get a bigger take up on that, but maybe if opticians can tell us what they would use in their window, or if it, posters, for example. Some people, what size poster would be best.
Right.
Are they keen on posters because actually it conflicts with other stuff they've got in the store? But we're open to ideas, and we talk to our partners like Robert, who got behind it, but all the eyewear manufacturers got behind it. We also got some of the multiples behind it last time as well. So yeah, we're up for ideas basically.
Okay, so if somebody's got an idea, they can put it to you, and that might work. And the other thing also I was thinking was, I know I saw Jay, I remember seeing a fantastic poster at 100% Optical, which would be a real sort of showstopper in a window. It would definitely stop people in their tracks if that was in a practice window. So in terms of support, what sort of support would you have, in terms of that side of marketing wise? Because obviously practices are now thinking about being very lean and clean and nothing, no more clutter and stuff like that. So how would that work in terms of support that you might provide to an eye care professional if they're going to do something that you're offering, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the artworks that we create are done by our graphic design team, and of course they can then be flexible for however they're then going to be used as an execution. So having invested in creating it, what we'd also then do is have a conversation about how it's going to be actually deployed in the real world. So is that one large installation? Is it a series of posters? We need to create different sizes, formats, versions, with and without logo, that sort of thing. Small resolution versions for social media and so on. So yeah, absolutely. So that one artwork can be turned into a whole suite of assets that can then be used across all the various channels.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, because then, like you say, you're investing that much in that one thing, but obviously you can utilize it in different ways, which is good. People can, push that out in different ways. That's great. Okay, good. And the other thing I wanted to ask, I saw that photo of yours where you get quite close to taking the picture, which was a bit like, okay, how far is that? In terms of social distancing, how's that going to work?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So we've revisited our entire workflow in light of the coronavirus situation in order to meet all the distancing guidelines. So there's various things that we can do, to do with wiping down the kit, and crew can wear PPE and so on. But fundamentally, we've also got a kind of perspex sheet set up. So essentially there is a complete physical barrier between us and the person we're photographing, with a hole in it through which we can poke the eye studio. So actually, at no point do we need to be in contact with that person. And then simply they can collect their own print from the printer. And again, everything's wiped down in between. So yeah, we can definitely meet those guidelines.
Cool. Right. Okay, great. That's my questions for now. Anything, Nathan?
Yeah, there's a really good one here. Actually, Robert suggested a poll on this before we started, and I think it'd be worth doing now. About when will your store be reopening? So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to launch it. If everyone, I think we've learned from our technology team that if you're struggling to vote, I'll put it on the screen now. It might be because you're on full screen mode. So you can vote now on the poll, but we're looking to find out when will your store reopen, because I think Jonathan has put on here, it's not a question, but he just said he wanted to say that Nick Ferrari on LBC is going to talk about opticians on Monday and how they've been advised not to open when he's on his breakfast show. Now, this is an important, I suppose, discussion point around the government guidance, and non-essential shops will be opening. I even saw a Next open yesterday, which necessarily struck me as being non-essential. Being essential. But yeah, we're keen to find out when stores will be reopening. I've got 31% of people have voted so far, so keep voting because I want to get a really good sample here. Robert, I guess, what are you sort of feeling? What are you sort of picking up from your customers?
I think if you can hear me there, Nathan, I think everyone's quite confused at the moment about when opticians are or aren't reopening. I think certainly we are. I mean, we're waiting. Very conscious, as I said earlier, not to be insensitive and send our sales team, for example, out too early. But at the same time, I think talking specifically about the PPE, I think any optician who is thinking about reopening, and certainly whatever happens, I think we're going to be getting back to work, opticians, certainly in the next few weeks. I think they just need to prepare themselves as much as they can for the future. Because I think the worrying thing we've experienced with PPE is actually sort of being able to deliver it to businesses when they want it. There's such a huge demand. So I would encourage opticians to be thinking about what they need and when they want it delivering, but placing orders, whether it's with William Morris or somebody else, but placing their orders for PPE as early as possible so they make sure they've got everything in store for that day when they reopen. And I think that's critical. That's really critical. And I think communicating that to their patients, exactly what precautions they are going to be implementing in their practices for when the patients come. I mean, the good news is, and I won't go into detail about it now, but the good news is, when I talk to my export markets who have gone back, general feedback has been very positive in that opticians have been very busy. When I talk to my distributor in Spain and Denmark, for example, opticians who have reopened to very busy practices. So that's the good news, but I think we just need to be prepared. I think for that reopening and for that kind of demand that may come.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Well, Mark played quite an important role here. Mark, one thing you've been talking about with the video, actually what your service could do is offer a really effective way, I guess, opticians being able to say, look how safe we are, we're open. And our customers feel comfortable to come back.
That's right, absolutely. So we've been doing this since the start of lockdown, actually, where we've encouraged people to record footage on their mobile device. Most of us are walking around with a HD or a 4K camera in our pocket. And yet it's not going to look as slick as if we turned up with a crew, but it's adequate. We've always said we've advocated rough, ready and relevant, and people will accept the film not being the most polished thing, perhaps a little bit of camera shake, perhaps if the sound quality is not great, as long as the content is there when they want it. So being able to brand that with your own brand and communicate directly with your customers to say, these are the steps we're taking to keep you safe, and these are the things we can do. That's really important. And even if people don't need their site test yet, if they're not impacted directly by that, it shows, if you're using that across social media, it's showing that you're a responsible business and you're taking care of your clients, and that again improves people's public perception of you and your business. So regardless of whether those people are customers now or not, it's important because, as I said, in the community, people will see you and see that actually you're responsible, you're taking your safety and your patient safety seriously. And being able to add a personal touch to that as well really helps, because obviously when people come into practice now, the optician that they've usually seen or the receptionist that they usually see might look different if they're wearing face masks and gloves and things like that. So it's great, again, to be able to see people and make that direct communication.
I think it's about confidence, isn't it? Really, people are not sure what they're going to be, going into. They don't know what the requirements will be, the procedures, all of that side of things. So if you as an optician, optometrist, can actually say, this is what it's like inside the practice, this is how we'll welcome you. Maybe prep them a little bit and say, make sure that you come with a pen. So if you need to sign anything, make sure you come with your mask, or we can provide the mask, whatever the routine. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to return to your practice, really. That's the idea, isn't it? So that they feel comfortable. They know you, they've been to you before, hopefully. They're customers of yours already. But as you say, Mark, it's scary when you can't see people's faces as well. You don't know what reactions are. So if you can make it a bit easier by doing a little video like that, it shows that you're looking after people and making that whole customer journey a bit more pleasant, really, in terms of that side. And thinking about them, that's the important thing, I think. Thinking if you were a person going to your optician or to your hairdresser, or wherever it was, what the journey would be like now, because you don't know. Like you say, we're all in a state of confusion. You don't know what's good, what you can do, what you can't do. So I think that's a great idea, Mark.
The other thing to add to that as well is if your patients are young people, so if you've got children that are coming into practice, or potentially vulnerable adults, people with additional needs, etc. Again, for them, they might not be able to understand why you're wearing a mask. So being able to just share that on video beforehand, so I've got the practitioner there without the mask on and showing them putting the mask on. So those young people or vulnerable people then can see that actually it's the same person that I'm familiar with behind the mask. And it's just that reassurance. It just helps the carer or the parent then prepare that person for
absolutely
their visit.
Absolutely, great point. Absolutely. Nathan?
So I want to share the poll results because who wants to have a guess at how many are open at the moment?
How many are open?
As a percentage,
20%.
Okay. JC?
Oh, I have not a clue, mate, because I'm a furloughed girl myself at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen with you. You might be quite surprised. Hopefully you can see that now, the poll.
Yeah, 40%, okay.
So it's split between now they're open and
July. Yeah.
I guess July is the safer bet, isn't it, really? But, it'd be interesting to hear that debate on Monday on LBC. Perhaps we should all tune in and phone in. But
that's interesting. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I think we've reached the hour mark, and I think thank you very much to everybody for joining us and for presenting today. Good conversation, I think.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and hopefully, just to remind everyone as well, if you can see my screen, we've recorded this so people can go back and watch it, and it'll be up there forever. And then also we'll be looking at doing another one of these, hopefully in a week's time. It's a fast-moving situation, this, so we'll get more guidelines every day. So I'll be looking forward to talking about the next stage, I suppose. And also just to remind everyone to do our survey on when you leave the webinar, because obviously if you want to get in touch with anyone, let us know and we can supply you their contact details. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Mark, Robert, and Jay, and JC. And hopefully we'll
thank you very much.
Thanks for hosting it,
okay.
Nathan. Thank you. Thanks, JC. Bye,
no
Mark.
worries. Bye now. Bye, Mark. Bye, Robert. Bye, Jay.
Bye.
Bye.